The Donald is just racking up W's, just racking up the W's, like the dubs, just all day dubs, all day, every day dubs. I think the only L the Trump administration has had so far has been the Epstein document leak, and people are mostly blaming Pam Bondi for that. They're not even really, or not leak, but release. And like people are blaming Pam Bondi for that. Nobody's blaming Trump for that. So that's like a Pam Bondi L, not a Trump L. Although Trump is the boss, the buck stops with him, blah, 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 blah. But still, another MAGA W. Shout out to the Associated Press. The IRS is drafting plans to cut as much as half of its 90,000 person workforce, AP sources say. Yeah, 45,000 people going to lose their fucking jobs. And that's okay because they're IRS agents and fuck them. Fuck them. Shout out to Fatima Hussein of the Associated Press. The IRS is drafting plans to cut its workforce by as much as half through a mix of layoffs, attrition, and incentivized buyouts, according to two people familiar with the situation. The people spoke Tuesday on condition of anonymity because they weren't authorized to disclose the plans. Ooh. So grains of salt and all that. This could all be bullshit. The layoffs are part of the Trump administration's efforts to shrink the size of the federal workforce through billionaire Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, the fucking Doge. By closing agencies, laying off nearly all probationary employees who have not yet gained civil service protection, and offering buyouts to almost all federal employees through a, quote, deferred resignation program to quickly reduce the government workforce. A reduction in force of tens of thousands of employees would render the IRS dysfunctional, said John Koskinen. I don't know how you would pronounce that. A former IRS commissioner. Oh, he's not even in the IRS today. Fuck off. Like, I'm so sick of this. Like, former CIA operative, former FBI agent, former heads of intelligence, former generals. Like, if you're not in the thing today, then your opinion is mostly moot. Like, especially when it comes to shit like this whole like, oh, if you shrink the size of government, everything's gonna be chaos. Oh God. The federal tax collector employs roughly 90,000 workers total across the United States, according to the latest IRS data. People of color make up 56% of the IRS workforce. Women represent 65%. I'm fucking shocked over here. Shocked that the worst, one of the worst anyway, easily the most hated section of the federal government is staffed mostly by women and POCs. Bureaucrats. Why it matters that most of these people that are going to get laid off or fired or whatever is people of the only reason why they bring that up is that they're women and people of color is because they want to say that MAGA is being racist and sexist by taking jobs away from women and POCs. Which, of course, if IRS was 90,000, if the IRS workforce was 90,000 white men, I would still want them axed. And I'm pretty sure that MAGA feels the same way. The Trump administration feels the same way. Like, it doesn't matter what color you are or what you got dangling around between your thighs. What matters is you're a deep state government shill. Everybody hates you, and your job is stupid, and nobody wants to pay you to do it anymore. Already, roughly 7,000 probationary IRS employees with roughly 1 year or less of service were laid off from the organization in February. I wonder how many of those 7,000 people were hired under that initiative from Biden to hire whatever it was. It was like 30,000 or 50,000 new IRS agents. Some of them are going to be armed. Yes, armed tax collectors. If you were short on your taxes, or if you haven't been filing your tax returns every year, people with guns are going to come and attack you. Because that makes perfect fucking sense. It's not like, okay, fine, we have to arrest this guy. Let's get like U.S. Marshals or something, actual law enforcement who are already armed. We need to have armed IRS agents. Stupid. The organization also offered IRS employees, along with almost all federal employees across the government, quote, deferred resignation program buyouts. So IRS employees involved in the 2025 tax season were told earlier this month that they would not be allowed to accept a buyout offer from the Trump administration until mid-May after the taxpayer filing deadline. Yeah, we got to get those taxes filed and all that shit. In addition to the planned layoffs, the Trump administration intends to lend IRS workers to the Department of Homeland Security to assist with immigration enforcement. Yeah, the ones that aren't getting fired, they're going to be given, like, here, we're going to disperse you among the various, or not various, but in this case, we're going to disperse you among um, DHS so that you could put some of your bureaucratic skills to use, processing all these fucking illegals. Um, in a letter sent in February, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem asked Wood, by the way, asked Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to borrow IRS workers to help with ongoing immigration crackdown efforts. Koskinen and 6 other former IRS commissioners, of course, it's never just one guy. It's always like one guy writes a letter and then a bunch of other retired assholes sign the letter, and that's supposed to give the letter weight. Bunch of retired old fuckers just like, oh yes, I agree with this take. This is a good take. I will put my name to this. What was it? Koskinen and 6 other former IRS commissioners wrote in the New York Times earlier this month, quote, aggressive reductions in the IRS's resources will only render our government less effective and less efficient in collecting the taxes Congress has imposed. Good. According to a White House memo sent to federal agencies in late February, agencies are developed, developed. I'm sorry. Let me do that sentence over. According to a White House memo sent to federal agencies last February, agencies are developed, God damn it, agencies are to develop a report by March 13th on its reduction in force plans, but it is unclear whether the White House will approve the IRS's reorganization plan and over what period of time it would be implemented. Basically, they're saying that Trump wants us to do a thing, but we don't know how we're going to do it. Yeah, that's what the Department of Government Efficiency is for. They will make you more efficient. Representatives for the White House, the Treasury Department, and the IRS did not respond to an Associated Press request for comment. The New York Times first reported the deliberations. So yeah, again, grains of salt, because this was, this did come from whatever the word is, two anonymous sources. But hopefully this is true, and like I said, hopefully it's true so that Trump can rack up more W's. Also, fuck the IRS. But yeah, you know the drill at this point. If you hate me and you disagree with my take, or if you like me and you agree with my take, either way, let me know in the comments. And, like the video and sub to the channel and, follow all my links and sub to all my other channels, all my alt channels, and come to Rumble on the weekends when I stream video games. And if you're into that sort of thing, follow me on X for all my shitty takes about various topics. Do the algorithm stuff for me. Throw me a bone.